Now, the common progression we're going to talk about today is one, it is becoming more well known after the release of the video on YouTube, The Awesome Axis of 4 Chords. Now, that video went on to describe the countless amount of songs you can play with 4 chords. And I'm going to show you that progression today using various bits and pieces of songs that you probably know or that you should look into knowing on the guitar. So let's begin by looking at the key of G now. Now, if we have a G chord progression and we're in the key of G major, we can expect 3 chords to be our main focus. That would be G1, C4, and D5. So as a reminder, you have G, C, D, and back to G. However, we are going to modernize that sound and we're going to play G. We're going to play C add 9. We're going to play D suspended. And if you want to release the suspension on your pinky, that's fine. And back to G. So we have 1, 4, 5, 1. Typically you have 1 chord added that really brings this chord progression to life, and that is E minor. So you've got right there is a deceptive cadence. A deceptive cadence is when your expectation, you as a listener, even if you know very little about how music works, your expectation is that this D chord is going to lead back home to G. Because D is the 5 chord. It's the second most important chord in the key. But what a deceptive cadence does. 1 chord, 4, 5, 6. So it's basically a deception. Your ear wants the progression to go back to 1, but the composer has fooled you, deceived you, for lack of a better term, and has landed on the 6th chord, which works really well, the E minor and G being somewhat similar sounds. So what we're going to do is take that E minor chord and we're going to put it in G, C, and D. We're going to place it 3rd. It's going to go G, D, E minor, and then C. And then you're going to hear a chord progression that's very familiar to you. So here it is, G, D, E minor, and C. That's the chord progression. Now, if I perk it up a little bit, make it a little bit more modern sounding by using our C add 9, our D suspended, and our E minor 7, then we have something different. So there is your chord progression. It's 1, 5, 6, 4. 1 G, 5 D, 6 E minor, 4 C, or C add 9. I'm now going to give you a few examples of songs that use the 4 chord trick and the capo. Probably one of the most famous songs that use a 4 chord trick would be Journey's Don't Stop Believing. That song happens to be in the key of E major. So if I use our theory, which is 1, 5, 6, 4, I've got an E, and then I count up to 5 from E, and I've got B, then I've got C sharp minor, and then I've got A. So I've got an E chord, I've got a B chord, C sharp minor, and A. Now, in terms of acoustic playing, this is probably not the ideal place to play. Now what I'm going to do is capo on fret 4. And it's going to change the sound of chords that you know. If I play a C chord, capoed on fret 4, I've got E. If I play G, I've got a B sounding. a B chord. If I play A minor, C sharp, and finally if I play F, or F major 7, I've got my A sound. So I've got the magic chord progression just played with different chords. Much easier than playing in E. However, it's not in the same register, it's the same key. But this will be passable if you're playing with a vocalist and you don't want to work so hard to play in the key of E. Now there are other alternatives in the key of E I can show you, but let's just go with what we're doing now. What we have is the ability also to play the bass line, the famous bass line, so watch how I play the bass line in with the chords. So there, you can still get the bass line in with a little bit of practice, and then you have a version of Don't Stop Believin' that is very effective. So one thing I want you to think about is not to be satisfied with just strumming chords throughout songs. There's a lot you can do, a lot you can add to your playing, and we will get to that as we go.